Yo, what's up? It's Zone here from Ignite Within. Once again, check out the website to buy merch. We're about to be dropping a whole new line of clothes coming very soon, so be on the lookout. So today's topic is going to be how to have an important conversation without either shying away from it or turning it into an argument. So I know everybody deals with this problem when either you need to have an important conversation about something and you're either too scared to have it because you just know it's not going to go anywhere, they're not going to understand, they're not going to care, or the problem is once you do have the conversation, either you think they're going to be prone to arguing with you about it or you're going to argue. You're scared that the emotions will get too high because of the topic, someone might get offended, or whatever it is. So say for a married couple, you have to have a conversation about finances, but every time you bring up the topic with your spouse, it turns into a big fight and you guys never accomplish anything. It's never a productive conversation. It doesn't go anywhere. So what I'm about to say is a step-by-step process that is from the book Crucial Conversations. I didn't really prepare for this, so I don't remember who the author was. I'm gonna put it in the description. But literally, like, if you haven't read that book, you're tripping. It's like, I would say it's one of the most important books anyone could read. So please read it. But so the first thing that people do wrong when having an important conversation is you don't state facts. So say someone is someone's making you upset, or they're doing something that you just don't like and you want to address it, so you can let them know, like, hey, I don't like what you're doing, can we fix this? So the problem is that people will go about the conversation in a way where they'll say, you did this to me, you did that, blah blah blah. You know what I'm saying? You just make them feel like a bad person. You're not saying just the facts. You have to say only the facts. You cannot make a conclusion, because the person will hear it and be like, I'm being attacked right now. That's their initial response. Because we evolved in such a way that we have like a fight or flight response to things, because we evolved from a more hostile environment. But the environment we're in now, we're not in that same environment, and we need to have these important conversations so that we can accomplish our goals with other people. So the person hears this and they hear they're getting attacked, they go in defense mode. Either they ignore you or it'll start to get emotional, just like that, if you don't state only facts. So an example of a fact would be if you say, when this happened, something that really happened, when you know what I'm saying, when the bills came back unpaid, I felt this way. It's a fact that you felt that way. They can't argue with you and say you didn't feel that way. But you just should not say, you made me feel this way. That's not a fact. It's not a fact that this person made you feel some type of way. You might think that they made you feel it, but the fact is, no one's making you feel anything. So don't tell anyone ever that they made you feel a type of way if you want to have a productive conversation. Because if you do that, it will turn into an argument. So start with facts, and the next thing is you have to establish a purpose. People want things to serve their interests. That's just a fact of life. People don't want, if you come up to someone saying you're morally obligated to do this, they don't want to hear that. No one wants to hear they're morally obligated to do something when there's nothing in it for them. Don't tell someone they owe you. Don't tell someone they need to do it because that's the right thing to do. Tell them, explain it to them in a way where it's going to benefit them. Tell them what they're going to get from it. Tell them how there's a goal that we share, and by figuring this out and working this out, we can get to this goal together and benefit both of us at the same time. So yeah, make sure that you find a mutual purpose, establish that early on in the conversation, and don't stray away from it. Every time there is it starts to get tense, make sure you're reestablishing, do we both share a purpose here? Is this conversation like establish, do we want to have this conversation because we both see that it's worth it? Like, ask them, be like, you do want this, right? Or like, what do you want? And we need, like, do you agree that we need to have this conversation to get to that goal? And then establish the grounds for the conversation. So the rules for the conversation for you should be this: to make sure that you are always encouraging them to say their side of the story. Always encourage them to ask questions. Don't just say stuff and expect them to accept it. Tell them, I want you to tell me your side every time you say something. Encourage them to say whatever they want. When you speak, limit it to just facts. Limit the way you're speaking in such a way where it's not going to heighten emotions and offend people. And then when they speak, just listen and do not go back into that fight response or that flight response. Always keep it tethered on that mutual purpose. Always keep them tethered to the mutual purpose, and then let them speak. Do not just keep going over them. Do not disregard what they said. Listen to them. Actually ask them questions to understand what they're saying. Don't just respond or listen to respond. Listen to what they're saying. Address what they're saying, and then let them respond. Encourage them to give their opinions, and from there you have to move to actually pretty much making a solid plan of action together. So you have the mutual purpose established, you've gotten both your sides out, gotten a certain understanding, given what was given, see where your interests will not match up, see where they will match up, like see what your side is. You got your circle of what you want, their circle what they want, see where it lines up like a Venn diagram, and then figure out how you guys can work something out in that area, that Venn diagram. And if there's no mesh, like what you want and what they want can not match up at all, come to a civil understanding that there's nothing you can do to work it out, instead of sitting there arguing about it for, weeks, months, years. Actually comes to the understanding that sometimes there's nothing you can work out, and you and this person cannot work this conflict out. So that's pretty much the main summary of it. I really encourage, even if you watch this video and you thought this was beneficial for you, read the book. The book explains everything in depth, and you will really truly understand the concepts and where they come from, why they work, and very, very good examples. I didn't really give very good examples in that book. He gives extremely good examples, and you will truly understand it. And I would say they have stuff online you can look up, the steps of having a crucial conversation, and you can look up just like a quick summary, kind of like what I did in this video here. But I would encourage writing down some notes if you like taking notes, so that you can always reference back to this. If you see a conversation that you're having is getting out of hand, and then you realize dang, this is kind of important, I don't want to ruin this over this inability to communicate. So yeah, read the book and take down notes so you can always reference back to it when you need to. Having these important conversations is so important. Being able to have a conversation about something that is high emotion, just very tense subject, where things just freaking things just get serious because that's such a serious topic. It's really important to have those conversations. You will never you cannot progress in an environment working with people without being able to do it. You might end up going your whole life being by yourself, not working with anyone else, even though it would benefit you, because you're afraid to have these conversations. But there is a guide that is written. This dude took the time to make a guide. There's other people who have probably written other books about the same topic. Please do yourself a favor and familiarize yourself with the topic of learning how to communicate on high risk or high emotion subjects, or just things where it's just so important that you cannot risk letting it crumble because of your inability to have a conversation and make sure that the person understands what's in it for them by considering the other person. Key points: state facts, establish a mutual purpose, encourage them to talk, encourage them to ask questions, and ask questions yourself that are like, I forget, there's a way to gear it. If you look it up or you read the book, you'll understand more directly how to do that process. And then the next thing is to establish a plan of action, step by step, with the other person involved in each idea, and figure out if there is a resolution that you can come to. Done.